Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, y'all? I just decided to go live because I'm watching the combine right now, and yeah, and I had a live feed. There we go. Lorenzo Styles at 4.27 seconds. That was crazy. His big brother ran fast too for I think linebacker. Right now, got my TV up here. Kevin Coleman Jr. from Mizzou. His first run was a 4.5. He was about to run his second. Supposed to be a live tracker, so Kevin Coleman, 4.50 both times. Right now, Jeff Caldwell ran a 4.32. Deion Burks ran a 4.31. And right now, we got Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. First run was a 4.47. Getting ready for his second run. What's up, Jay? Man, I got my snacks here, man. I got me some pizza rolls from the Amish market. Got some pizza rolls and some breakfast sausage. That's a combination for you. All right, Omar Cooper gets off. Didn't look like he got a good start, but 4.43, better the time. Better the time. He went from a 4.47 to a 4.43. Like, people don't understand how difficult it is to drop your time on the second run because you expend so much energy on the first one. Good time. 4.47 to a 4.43. Nicely done. Nicely done. Wide receiver, 6 foot and an eighth, 199, 4.43, 37-inch vert. His comp is Stephon Diggs. So that's pretty cool. Caleb Douglas from Tennessee Tech ran a 4.4 flat. Runs a 4.4 flat on second. Five ten 180. He's a small type dude. Deion Burks is. And right now, Malachi Fields is running. He ran a 4.62 and a 4.64. So average speed for a wide receiver. I'm guessing he's pretty big. He's like tall. 6'4". Emmanuel Henderson Jr. ran a 4.44. Now he's getting ready for a second run. For sure. Yeah, man, combine is good, but sometimes the combine can be misleading because a lot of times combine overwrites your whole body of work. You could have had a great season. If you have a subpar combine, it kind of negates what you did on the field. Manuel Henderson runs a 4.46. About the same. Let me take myself out of the way a little bit. You know what? Nah, I'll leave it. So Chris Hill Jr. He ran a 4.41 and a 4.44 on the second one. Not bad. 4.5 is average. Anything below 4.5 is good speed. Anything 4.3 is great speed. And anything low 4.3s, 4.2s is elite level speed. You know what? It might be a good trip because they didn't do it like this when I was in the combine. Like in the 90s, they didn't have a lot of people in there. It was only like the coaches and the trainers and stuff. They wasn't opened up, but they figured out a way to make money off of it. So that's where they go. They do let the fans in the combine. That's what I was just saying. My best combine time, my senior year was 4.48. I did not have a good combine. I think I ran like a 4.7. I ran a 4.72 and a 4.76 at the combine. But my agility drills and my jumping, all of that stuff was great, was above average. But my 40 time was not good. But when I ran at my school, there was a guy named Dan Shonka. He was at the time he was a scout for the Miami Dolphins. He came down and ran me at EKU, and I ran a 4.8. Yes, I was a footballer. Absolutely. I was running back. Thought you knew, man. TML, you must be new to the team, bro. But I appreciate you. Yeah, I was a running back, man. I was with the Eagles in 93 and 94, played with Randall Cunningham, Herschel Walker, um, Fred Barnett, Wes Hopkins, Eric Allen, who just got in the Hall of Fame. Um, yeah, Seth Joyner, William Thomas, Andre Waters, Wes Hopkins. Yeah, bro. I was pretty good. When I came out of college, back then, they didn't call it the football championship subdivision. They called it one. There was 1A and 1AA. I was the all-time leading rusher in 1AA history. I averaged like 6.7 yards a carry. Dude, I was nasty, bro. I had skills. Yeah, Randall was my QB, dude. Just put a I don't know if y'all saw that. Buddy sent me a picture that I posted on Twitter. See if I can find it. You forget how much stuff get buried on your Twitter feed. All this marathon stuff. I was playing the game marathon the weekend. Hold on. That's me. That's Vaughn Hebron. That's Randall. That's me. Our rookie year. I don't know where this was. Vaughn sent me this picture a couple weeks ago. I have no idea where this was. It was a party somewhere. Because I can see the balloons and streamers hanging from the ceiling, but I can't even remember where this picture was taken. Did you or anyone could ever play in the CFL? Bro, I used to play for the Ticats too. That was me, bro. Went to both leagues. I played in the NFL, played in the CFL, and I also played in the World League. Won a championship with the Scottish Claymores in the World League in 1996. Oh, you don't like the Ticats? It's all good, bro. It's all good. My experience with the CFL was not a good one. No, but one of the best stories I have, we played the Argos in Toronto, and I got a chance to see Doug Flutie and pinball up close and personal. They ended up beating us. The pinball was impossible to tackle. He was incredible. But Doug Flutie was incredible. He was incredible. They beat us like on with less than a minute left on the clock. They scored or whatever the situation is. I just remember after that game, I made it a point. I made it a point to go on the field. After the game, everybody goes on the field, congratulate, shake hands, all that kind of stuff. I made a beeline to Doug Flutie to make sure I shook his hand and was like, bro, I don't give a damn what anybody say. You belong in the league. And then I think the next year, that's when Buffalo picked him up, I think. But yeah, man. Had some memories. Milt Stiegel is a good friend of mine. He's from Cincinnati. So we were friends in high school and stuff. So we knew each other in high school, but I became friends with Milt when we were in college because Milt went to Miami of Ohio, and one of my best friends also played with Milt at Miami of Ohio, and that's when I became good friends with Milt. So yeah, yeah. Keith Byers, Chris Carter, Eric Allen. Played with Eric, played with Randall. Did not play with Byers or Chris Carter. So it's all good, bro. That's the way it goes, man. You chalk it up. Chalk it up to the chalk it up to the game, man. Chalk it up to the game. I have no regrets. Yeah, I call Milk the Jerry Rice. I need to reach out to Milk too, just to say what's up to my homie. Because I know last time I reached out to Milk was after I found out about his son passing. So um, yo, if you find my jersey anywhere, let me know. If you find my jersey somewhere, let me know, bro. Yeah, Milt was a good dude, man. He's a homie. So, but like I said, I reached out to him after. When I say I reached out, I texted him um, after his son passed. I think my boy Ron Carpenter, let me know about it, and so yeah. So as far as I know, he's doing okay. But in any case, yeah, Milt's a good dude, man. Love Milt. All right, they're throwing passes now. I just wanted to see the 40 times. They're pretty much done. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see who top performers. Oh, see, that's all time. I don't want all time. I want this year. Let's go back to live results. And let's do all right. So Lorenzo Styles ran a 4.27. Deion Burks ran a 4.30. Jeff Caldwell from Cincinnati ran a 4.31. How tall is Jeff Caldwell? See, that's I want height. I want about six. Oh shoot. He is 6'5" and ran a 4.31. Sign him up. Sign him up. 6'5", 216, and ran a 4.31. Most people that are that tall don't run blazing high speeds because the turnover is a little bit difficult. The turnover being when your left foot leaves the ground, how much time between your left foot coming back to the ground. That's your turnover. And the faster your turnover, the faster you are. And usually guys that are 6'2", 6'3", long legs, that turnover, when they get going, you can go. But accelerating is usually the hard part. And when you're running a 4.3 and you 6'5", oh my God. Somebody got to bring him into camp. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's great. That's phenomenal size and speed right there. I think Lorenzo Styles is like 5'10". Oh, he went to Pickering. Okay. Pickerington. Okay. Another Lorenzo Styles, 6 foot. 6 foot. He is a he's a DB, but 6 foot. That's good size. 6 foot, 195. And blazing speed. So I'd have to look at some more of his drills to see what his hips look like. Can he open up them hips, change direction, stuff like that? Blazing speed. So good time. He just done made himself some money. Deion Burks, Caldwell, Toriano Pride Jr. He ran a 4.32. Back 5'10", 185. See, he's a little light for DB. He's a little light, super fast, but a little light. Especially when you're going up against them big ass DB or them big ass wide receivers in the league. But still, that's a good run. That's a good run. So, but hey, what did I tell you? Anything below 4.40, if you in the 4.3, anything, that is phenomenal. That is great speed. I would say anything under 4.35 is elite level speed. 4.32, that's elite level speed. That's elite level speed. Let's see who else we got. Toriano, Robert Spears Jennings, another 4.32. Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, 6'2", 205. That's good size. And he is a DB. That 10-yard split, because that gives you a better opportunity or a better idea of how fast they can get off the line. 1.48 seconds, 1.49, 1.5. If you 1.45, low 1.15, 1.4, that's ridiculous. That's getting off the line super quick, and you can make a move, double move, go inside, quick slant, deep slant, deep out, quick out, in, come back, all of that route tree. That whole route tree is yours. Zachariah Branch, wide receiver from Georgia. What's he looking like? 5'9". See, he's small. He's small. I want some guys. I want at least 5'10", 5'11", preferably 6 foot. So, what's up, Ian? You might if you recorded the preseason stuff. I had a really good preseason game. The first game in 1993 against the Saints in Tokyo. We played in the Tokyo Bowl. I had a couple good plays in that game, but the game that did it for me was the last preseason, or was it the last game? But in any case, preseason 1993 versus Atlanta. That was how I made the team. That's how I made the Eagles. I had 12 carries, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So that was the game where the squad. All right, let's see what else we got. Anybody else? Let me see them tight ends. Let me see Sadiq. That's who everybody talking about. Kenyon Sadiq. Kenyon Sadiq. Lord have mercy. Look at this. So look at the 40 times. All right. Now for a tight end, anything in the 4.5s is phenomenal. But I want you to look at Kenyon Sadiq. Look at his stats. Look at his stats. 6'3", 241 and ran a he ran a four. What did he run? A 4.40. Look at that. 4.39. 4.39. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. 4.39. That's a big man moving right there. Now, that's somebody that you can move. You can put him at tight end. You can put him outside at wide receiver. I want to see how he changes directions because he is a big guy. But I mean, look at your boy in Pittsburgh, DK Metcalf. Um, so, Coach, what do the Eagles have when you play? I played for Kotite. I played for Kotite. I think Kotite didn't get fired until after '94, and then Ray Rose came in '95 when I was gone. But look at this. Look at this kid right here, man. Quickly, that is crazy. 4.39. That don't make sense. Now put that in scale. 6'3", 240, running a 4.3, running roughly 22 miles, 23 miles an hour, coming at you, and you are a 5'10" DB, maybe 205 pounds. So you're giving up 30 pounds. Like, I don't think a lot of people look at it like that, how much weight you're giving up and how fast these kids are running. That's crazy. That's crazy. He just made himself a ton of money. Let's look at RJ Barrett, 4.5 flat, 4.51, which is still good. Which is still good. 236. 236 running a 4.51. But that just makes Sadiq look even better. That just makes Sadiq look even better. So, and then where's the quarterback? They just said a quarterback. Now the quarterbacks, you got to be careful because after Anthony Richardson, he just spoiled the pot for everybody. And I'm saying that from the standpoint of Anthony Richardson jumped out of the gym and he was a horrible quarterback. So Taylor Green from Arkansas ran a 4.36. Haynes King ran a 4.46. This was ridiculous, though. And look at it. He's the quarterback people want. 6'6", 227. I have to look at some tape. I didn't watch Arkansas. Does he have an arm? Is he a running quarterback, or can he step back and deliver the ball on time and on target? How many games did he start? Because that was the big knock against Anthony Richardson. He had only started like 8 or 9 games in his collegiate career, but he was so freakishly athletic that they rolled the dice. And unfortunately, um, the Colts, they crapped out. He wasn't as good. He was not a good quarterback. He was not a good leader. Um, that's the gamble. That's the gamble. But this kid is 6'6", 227. So let's just say he's 225 because you're gonna lose a little weight when you go to camp. So put that down a little bit. So this is wide receivers doing drills. And let's see. Anybody who's the other guy? The other guy ran like a 4.51 or something like that. Other quarterback. 4.46. Haynes King. He is from Georgia Tech. Okay. 6'2", got decent size. I didn't see what he did. I mean, he ran a 4.47. You below 4.5, so he can get out of his own way, and he can burn you with his legs. So But now they're not putting much stock in that anymore. So you got to be able to get it done. I want to see something. We got a 4-4, and we got a for the quarterbacks. We got a 4-4 and a 4-3, correct? 4-3-6 and a 4-4-6. What? Let me see if I can find Jalen Hurts. What did Jalen Hurts run? Can I find it? I don't know. This is Taylor Green 437. Bet you I can find it. But it should be on the channel. Yeah. So they got Xavier Worthy, so they got everybody. So why Jalen Murray? Yeah, they don't have him in there. Interesting. Let me see if see what the interweb says. Jalen Hurts, come on, 40. See if we can find that. See if we can find a video of this. That was Jay Hurts. That was him throwing the rock. But did they get him running the 40? I don't think they did. All right. Jalen passing numbers. There we go. Jalen Hurts ran a 4.59, 4.64 and a 4.59. And he's a Super Bowl two-time. Uh, he's a Super Bowl champion and been to the game twice. So if I ran a 40-yard dash today, I would probably run like a 5.8, maybe 6.6. That's what I would run. The knees don't get up like they used to. I listen, man. I am battling to stay under 260 pounds right now. I just started working out again, getting up. I work from home now, so a lot of my time is sitting on my ass. So I'm constantly finding ways to get up, move around, and do what I got to do. They have officially moved me from running back to defensive end, bro. So I am actively, when it gets a little warmer, I'm gonna get outside and start jumping rope again, just to cut some of the weight because I'm older, bro. I got to keep this stuff off. So, but I appreciate it though, because I know my stations, bro. So I know what's too heavy for me, and 260 and above is too heavy for me. So I got to get to getting. That is not healthy, especially for an older black man. No, that is not good. That's not good for business. Not at all. And I'm not even going front like it is. I gotta lose. I gotta cut some weight. I gotta cut some weight. I said that maybe I would like when I work out in the morning, like start streaming it if I go outside in the backyard, like set my camera up and or set the phone up and just stream live or something. Don't really talk, just do the workout. You know what? I might do that one time just to see what type of response I get. So, but in any case, uh, so yeah. So I could run a 40 feet dash. I could do that 40 foot, but a 40, a legit 40, nah, that would hurt my feelings right about now. I'm doing good just to run to the mailbox and check the mail. Jalen Hurts can squat like what, 605, 620 or something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He had they did the thing where they had Saquon watching Jalen squat one time. It was impressive. So yeah. So But yeah, we got him. So Jay Hurts is all right with me. But again, so just to put things in perspective, because when you look at the fastest quarterback I've ever seen in my life is Michael Vick. Point period in the paragraph. Michael Vick is the GOAT as far as I'm concerned. Um, but like you look at Jalen Hurts ran a 4.59, right? And think of how many times Jalen Hurts has run away from the defense and running a 4.59. So that just lets you know that a lot of these quarterbacks, you don't need to have blazing speed. Hell, I've seen Shador Sanders run away from guys. And I know Shador Sanders ain't fast. That's the one thing he did not inherit from his dad. Maybe Shiloh did, but mm-mm. Maybe that's something that Dion can't pass that around because that type of speed. Dion was what 4.21. Fastest people I've ever seen in the NFL is Deion Sanders and Errol Green. So, and most of the guys nowadays won't even remember them. They'll remember Dion, but not Daryl Green. Daryl Green was nasty and he was ridiculously fast. How often do I lift? I don't lift anymore. I don't lift anymore. I just get out in the back. I got me like I bought me a weight bag that I stuffed with sand and old hoodies. And I might like put that on my back and walk around the backyard. Like I have no desire to go back to a weight room. None. I will do um when I get into my groove, like I might wake up and I might do like 100 air squats, like rip out 100 air squats. I might do a couple, like maybe 10, 20 push-ups, and then I'll jump rope. And I don't really jump rope for time. I got a little app on my watch and I do 1,000 jumps. I got a weighted rope. I got the heavy ropes, the cross ropes. I got a 1 pound cross rope, half quarter pound, half pound, and 1 pound. And I take the half pound and I jump 1,000 jumps. And then by the time I get done with that, I'm tired and sweat and all that kind of stuff. So uh yeah, Willie T. Matter of fact, I just got a text from Willie T. I don't know, maybe 20 minutes ago. Me and Willie T are very good friends. He was Willie T was probably the one guy that I really connected with when I was a rookie. Me and him hang out a lot. We used to play golf all the time. So yeah, Willie T. I would consider Willie T. probably my best friend from that time, and we still keep in touch and we still talk all the time. I'm gonna call him tonight. So yeah, Willie T. is my boy, man. Amarillo, Texas. Yes, sir. Um, there would be no Lamar Jackson if there wasn't a Michael Vick. Watch Michael Vick's highlights. He was incredible. Um, was Lamar was a better quarterback than Michael Vick. And I would say they were probably the same speed, but I think Lamar Jackson is a better overall quarterback than Michael Vick was. Michael Vick became a much better quarterback later in his career. Very similar to what happened with Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham was a good QB, but you never saw the best of Randall Cunningham till he got to the Vikings and should have went to the Super Bowl that year if it wasn't for a stupid kicker. But it just happens like that. But go back and look at Michael Vick. He was absolutely incredible. Nobody had ever seen anything like him. The only thing that I can compare with Michael Vick, and you got to go back in the 80s at University of Oklahoma with Jamel Holloway running the triple option. Because Jamel Holloway was like 5'9" and couldn't nobody stop him. So um, yeah, Mike Vick, you got to watch. Mike Vick was incredible, man. Mike Vick was incredible. But that's why I say Mike Vick kind of set the mold. And then that's when people started like, okay, if you do have a super fast guy that wants to play quarterback, you don't just move him to running back or a wide receiver. See if he can play quarterback. See if he can play the position. And I think Michael Vick, when he was at Virginia Tech, was just electric. He was Michael Vick was what Michael Jordan did for ESPN highlights at that time. when ESPN came on the scene, everybody watched ESPN in the morning and at night so you could see the Michael Jordan highlights of him dunking on somebody. When Michael Vick was at Virginia Tech, you were always looking for Michael Vick highlights, and they would always show Michael Vick highlights because they were that dynamic and incredible. He was like, there is no way that he's going, yep, yes, he did. But having said that, Lamar Jackson had just as much skill, speed, but Lamar Jackson, his arm is not as good as Michael Vick's. I think Michael Vick, and I'm talking about arm strength, not accuracy and all that kind of stuff. Michael Vick's arm strength is very underrated, but Lamar Jackson has a very good arm. Lamar Jackson is accurate, and I never forget this. Lamar Jackson had some ridiculous game in Louisville. Now, mind you, I went to Eastern Kentucky. So I'm tuned in. If somebody doing something in Kentucky, I want to see it. Now, Michael Vick happened after I was out of college. But I was like, let me see what this young kid is doing down in Louisville. And I watched him, and I don't remember who he played, but he rattled off like 4 rushing touchdowns. He just put on an incredible performance. And the only thing I heard that week on ESPN is like, he is not going to translate to the NFL as a quarterback. They're going to move him. He probably wants to move to receiver or that. He's not going to be able to play quarterback in the NFL. The very next week, he threw 5 touchdown passes. And I'm not talking about he ran the ball to the 5 and then threw a 5-yard out. He was dropping dimes in the bucket. And I was like, this dude is for real. This dude is for real. So, yes, Michael Vick was probably the first one where you just stopped and stared to watch him. But I think Lamar Jackson had the same speed and quickness and all of that type of stuff and was just a much better quarterback. TML, absolutely, bro. Come on, we keep it a buck. We know what it was. We know what it was. Randall Cunningham went through the same thing when he was at Vegas. A lot of people didn't want Randall Cunningham to be a quarterback. Warren Moon spent all of that time in the CFL and still came to the NFL and wreck shop. They still couldn't stop him. So just imagine if he would have started out in the NFL first. He broke every freaking passing record in the CFL before he got to the Oilers. And they still didn't want to give him credit for doing that. Warren Moon was a beast. So yeah, racism, colorism, nepotism, all of them isms. Absolutely, bro. We know what it was. Yeah, they just didn't, they would say they didn't want blacks being quarterbacks. They didn't want a black guy to be the head of a team because they knew they didn't want that. But a big part of that is you got to remember there's a reason why the SEC is still the biggest conference in the country. Because most of those teams, Oklahoma, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Georgia Tech, all of them Southern teams, you in the South, so they didn't want a black quarterback. And that's just keeping it a buck. That's how it was back then. That's exactly how it was. So, we've grown, I played with my first year in the World League. Doug Williams was my coach. The Doug Williams from the Washington Redskins who won the Super Bowl. First black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. That Doug Williams. So we heard stories and some of the things that they did and how they cut Doug Williams so they could sign Jeff Rutledge. And what did Jeff Rutledge ever do? Not go to the Super Bowl. So it was, crazy stuff like that, man. And Doug Williams went to Grambling. Some of our goats. Shannon Sharp. He went to what? Savannah State. Jerry Rice went to, was it Fort Valley State or something like that? He went to some Valley State. So yeah, Doug Williams at Grambling, and there's a whole slew of other Hall of Fame NFL guys that went to black colleges, HBCUs. He'll be back in. He'll be back in. Brian Flores will be back a head coach sooner or later. So it is what it is, man. The truth of the matter is you got a bunch of rich guys that want to play with their toys, and if they don't want this guy or that guy being the head coach, you don't have too many guys that are trying to set the tone like Al Davis did when he hired Art Shell. It's not too many, even though you got a lot more qualified coaches. I think um in my opinion, I still think the biggest thing is the favoritism and the nepotism. Mississippi Valley, thank you. Yes, correct. Mississippi Valley for Jerry Rice. But yeah, them isms is real, bro. The isms is real. So they still exist, especially when you're dealing with a head coach. You take a billionaire owner, white guy, who wants his people in there. Not everybody's like that, but the good old boys network is a real thing. Let me just say it like that. It's a real thing. So why else would everything that happened to Shador happen to Shador? That's a whole nother conversation. Let me say this though. Do I think that Shador did not do a good job in his interviews? I believe that wholeheartedly. However, there are some guys that got drafted that had sexual assault cases pending, drunk driving cases pending, drug charges pending. There's been plenty of guys that have been drafted that had a lot of issues going on, and a lot of issues other than being too cocky or too confident. Let me just say that. So the fact that teams act like they don't want to draft him because he might be trouble is a load of crap. It's a load of crap. You got teams that drafted quarterbacks and they knew that the dude didn't read his playbook. You look at Johnny Manziel, come on now. And he's not the only one. He's just the most visible. You go back and you look at all of these quarterbacks, all of these, hell, I won't even say quarterbacks. Look at all of these players, first-round players. And out of all of those first-round players, who lived up to their giraffe position? And who's just a guy? So that goes on a lot, man. That goes on a lot. Yeah, yeah. Big scholarship for McNeese. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. My trainer was ask your uncle if he knows Otho Davis. Everybody knew Otho Davis. I didn't even realize how big Otho was until after he passed away. He was the trainer for the Eagles. Everybody knew Otho Davis. So yeah, that's good stuff, man. It's good stuff, Jay. But all right. I just wanted to come in and talk about the 40 times. Good conversation, though, bro. Good conversation. I didn't expect too many people to jump in the middle of a Saturday, 4:00 on a Saturday. So it's all good. But I'll be back on Monday, and we'll recap some of the stuff, some of the news, some of the. Now that the combine is over, we can really start taking a look on who Eagles are trying to point and who they gunning for in this draft. Because now combine's over. Now it's draft time. This is how we season. This is how we season. So now we gonna get to getting. So, but all right, man. I appreciate y'all. Jay, appreciate you. TML fan, appreciate you. One Big Sheed, I appreciate you. Everybody in the chat, man. This is good conversation today, man. So I'm gonna get up out of here. I will see y'all next week. Y'all enjoy your Sunday. Be safe. Enjoy your time off, and I will see you next week. And as usual, go Birds.